Hello, this is Professor Asma Parveen from Department of Psychology. Today I will discuss about controlling errors. Controlling errors in research design is a very crucial aspect to ensure the reliability and accuracy of the study findings. These errors can occur at various stages of the research process, but researchers have methods to minimize their impact. Understanding where these errors can originate from is essential for researchers. Errors are essentially discrepancies between the actual value of something and the value that was observed or calculated. They encompass all the mistakes made during the research, providing insight into how much the study results deviated from the intended target. To illustrate this, consider two individuals using the same device or instrument to measure something. Despite their best efforts, they may obtain slightly different results. This disparity between their measurements is referred to as an error. It highlights the inherent variability that can arise even when employing the same tools and same techniques. There are different types of errors. These errors can make our results inaccurate or misleading, which can be a problem when we are trying to understand different aspects of our research. Researchers try their best to come up with the most accurate measurements, but it is not always easy. Understanding the different types of errors that can occur during measurements is essential for obtaining accurate results. There are mainly three types of errors on the basis of their source of origin. First category is gross errors. These are the significant mistakes that can greatly affect the outcome. The second category is random errors. These cannot be predicted and lead to small variations. Third category is systematic errors, and these errors occur consistently and can introduce consistent inaccuracies. So, by being aware of these errors and taking appropriate measures to minimize or eliminate them, researchers can ensure the reliability of their data and draw valid conclusions. The first category of errors is gross errors. Gross errors can have a significant impact on an experiment or measurement. These errors occur unintentionally and can be caused by human error, equipment malfunctions, or other unexpected factors. One common cause of gross errors is using the wrong units or misinterpreting a scale, which can lead to inaccurate results. It is crucial to identify and correct these errors in order to obtain precise and reliable data. In addition to their accidental nature, gross errors are a major type of mistake that can occur when reading, writing, and measuring things. These errors often arise from simple mistakes such as misreading or miscalculating data. For instance, someone might mistakenly record a measurement of 23 as 28, resulting in a significant discrepancy. Gross errors can lead to inaccurate results, so it is essential to minimize these errors. And to minimize these errors, we have two measures that can help researchers to such type of errors. Firstly, it is essential to exercise caution when recording and analyzing data, ensuring that calculations are accurate. Additionally, involving multiple individuals in the experiment can help mitigate gross errors. This approach allows for measurements to be taken at different points by different people, reducing the likelihood of a single error significantly impacting the overall results. Recognizing the potential sources of gross errors is also crucial in avoiding them. Human error, such as misjudging or misreading or incorrectly operating equipment, can introduce significant inaccuracies. Similarly, technical issues with instruments or unforeseen circumstances can contribute to gross errors. To ensure the accuracy of our findings, it is essential to be vigilant in detecting and rectifying gross errors by double checking measurements, verifying units, and carefully reviewing calculations. We can minimize the occurrence of these errors. Moreover, maintaining a systematic approach and paying attention to detail can help prevent gross errors from compromising the integrity of our experiments. Second category is random errors. These random errors are unpredictable and error by chance. They can be caused by various factors such as environmental conditions, fluctuations in equipment, or even human variability. Random errors lead to small variations in the results and cannot be eliminated completely. However, they can be minimized through repeated measurements and statistical analysis. By taking multiple readings and calculating the average, the impact of random errors can be reduced. Random errors are of two types: observational errors and environmental errors. As you can see in the figure, that is showing both the types of errors. The first is observational error, a beaker in which a student repeatedly weights a beaker with solution and gets different measurements every time. This is observational error. Next is the environmental error. When getting a pressure reading, students were entering and exiting the lab, causing the pressure to be lower. Random errors lead to small variations in the results and cannot be eliminated completely. However, they can be minimized through repeated measurements and statistical analysis. By taking multiple readings and calculating the average, the impact of random errors can be reduced. Third category of errors is systematic errors. These errors are consistent and occur due to a specific problem in the measurement or experiment. Unlike random errors, systematic errors always affect the results in the same way. These errors can arise from faulty equipment, calibration issues, or flawed experimental design. For instance, if a scale consistently reads values that are slightly higher than the actual weight, it would introduce a systematic error. It is important to identify and address systematic errors to ensure accurate and reliable data. To identify and correct systematic errors, it is essential to take certain steps, that is, to calibrate instruments regularly to ensure accurate readings. Use multiple instruments to cross check measurements. If different instruments yield similar results, it is likely that systematic errors are minimal. Review the experimental design to identify any potential sources of systematic errors. Adjustment can then be made to minimize their impact on the results. Systematic errors can be categorized into four subtypes to better understand them. First group is environmental errors. These are the errors which occur as a result of the surrounding conditions or the environment. The second group is observational errors, which are errors that occur when we make observations or measurements. These errors can be caused by human error. It is important to be aware of these errors and take steps to minimize them in order to obtain more accurate results. The third group is instrumental errors, which are mistakes that happen because of problems with the tools or instruments we are using. The fourth group is theoretical errors, which occur due to flaws in our understanding or theories. This figure is showing three types of systematic errors: instrumental error, an environmental error, and observational error. With the help of examples, we can easily understand what are the factors that are leading to instrumental, environmental, or observational errors. Now, I will discuss all these errors in detail. First category is environmental errors. These occur due to external factors such as temperature, pressure, humidity, or even a magnetic field. These errors affect measurements. For instance, if you measure your body temperature under your armpits and the electricity goes out, causing the room to become hot, it will impact the accuracy of your body temperature reading. This is because the change in the temperature of the room and it has influenced the measurement. These environmental errors highlight the importance of controlling external conditions when conducting measurements to ensure accurate results. Next is observational errors. These errors are because of a variety of reasons, and one common mistake is when someone allows their personal bias to influence their observations. This can lead to inaccurate or skewed data. Another source of error is when the equipment used for observation is not set up correctly. If the instruments are not calibrated properly, or if there are issues with the measurement tools, it can result in faulty readings. Carelessness during the observation process can also contribute to errors. For example, if someone is not paying close attention or is distracted, they may miss important details or make mistakes. Additionally, parallax errors can cause incorrect readings. This occurs when the observer's line of sight is not directly perpendicular to the object being observed, leading to a distorted perception of its position. Overall, it is crucial to be aware of these observational errors and take steps to minimize them in order to obtain accurate and reliable data. Next category is instrumental errors. These errors are often caused by issues with measuring instrument itself. One common problem is using complicated language or unclear meanings that the person being measured does not understand. This can lead to misunderstandings and inaccurate responses. Printing mistakes, such as not leaving enough space for answers or forgetting to include all possible response choices, can also contribute to measurement errors. Additionally, the instrument may not accurately represent all the things we are trying to measure, further compromising the accuracy of the measurements. Another factor that contributes to instrumental errors is the limitation of the measuring device. As each instrument has its own set of limitations, and these limitations can impact the accuracy and reliability of the measurements. This can also include issues such as calibration errors, malfunctioning equipment, or limitations in the precision of the instruments. It is crucial to regularly calibrate and maintain our instruments to reduce the impact of instrumental errors on our data. Furthermore, human error also plays a role in instrumental errors. If people do not use the apparatus correctly or pro- fail to follow proper procedures, it can introduce inaccuracies into the measurements. Even the way we set up the measurement process can affect the results, highlighting the importance of careful planning and execution. Next category is theoretical errors. These errors occur when we make mistakes in our theories or in understanding of theories. These errors can stem from incorrect assumptions, flawed models, or a lack of knowledge about the subject. In order to ensure that our scientific knowledge is as precise as possible, it is crucial that we consistently verify and enhance our theories. By doing so, we can strive for greater accuracy and avoid potential pitfalls that may arise from faulty assumptions or incomplete information. It is through this process of continuous improvement that we can refine our understanding and advance our scientific knowledge. Measurements are prone to errors, and there are various sources of these errors. One of these sources is the respondent or the individuals who are giving the responses. For example, when individuals or respondents are reluctant to express their true negative emotions, or lack knowledge about the subject but are unwilling to admit it. Consequently, they may provide answers that are mere guesses, leading to inaccurate measurements. Additionally, factors such as fatigue, boredom can also, or anxiety can also impact the accuracy of their responses. These external influences can greatly affect the reliability of measurements and should be taken into consideration when analyzing the data. Errors can also arise from characteristics of the person or object being measured. If the person being measured is not representative of the entire population, it can introduce bias into the results. Similarly, if the object being measured is damaged or altered, it can affect the accuracy of the measurements obtained. Inaccurate information provided by the person being measured can also lead to errors. Uncooperative individuals may hinder the measurement process, resulting in unreliable data. Additionally, changes experienced by the person being measured over time can impact the validity of the measurements. These subject related errors have the potential to introduce bias and compromise the overall validity of the measurements obtained. These respondent or subject related errors have the potential to introduce bias and compromise the overall validity of the measurements obtained. Another source is situational factors. They can also have a significant impact on the accuracy of measurements. These factors encompass anything that creates pressure within the relationship between the interviewer and the respondent. One such factor is the presence of others during the interview, as their presence can influence the responses given. Whether they actively participate or simply observe, their mere presence can alter the authenticity of the answers provided. Additionally, if the respondent feels that their identity will not remain anonymous, they may be reluctant to openly express certain emotions or thoughts. This hesitation can hinder the accuracy of the measurement process. The physical environment in which an interview occurs is another crucial situational factor that can also influence the accuracy of the measurement. Elements like noise levels, temperature, and lighting play a significant role in determining the respondent's comfort and ability to provide precise responses. If the room is excessively hot or cold, it can create distractions and discomfort, potentially compromising the reliability of the answers given. Moreover, excessive noise can hinder concentration and comprehension, making it challenging for the respondent to fully grasp the questions posed. Thus, careful attention must be paid to the physical environment to ensure optimal conditions for accurate measurement. The timing of an interview is yet another critical factor that can affect the accuracy of measurements. Studies have demonstrated that individuals' moods and energy levels vary throughout the day, with distinct peaks and valleys occurring at different times. Conducting an interview during a low energy period may yield less engaged and thoughtful responses from the respondent. Conversely, scheduling the interview during a high energy period can result in more detailed answers. Hence, it is imperative to carefully select an appropriate time for the interview to ensure the acquisition of reliable and valid measurements. Next source is the interviewer itself. Interviews are a crucial tool for gathering information, but it is important to recognize that they can be influenced by the person conducting them. One way this can happen is through the manipulation of the order of the questions. By changing the sequence of questions, interviewers have the power to shape the answers they receive. This means that the responses may be tailored to fit the interviewer's desired outcome. Additionally, the demeanor and appearance of the interviewer can also impact how people respond. Factors such as body language, tone of voice, and overall presentation can influence participants to answer in a certain way. So, it is essential for interviewers to exercise caution when handling the information obtained, as mishandling it could potentially alter the results of the interview. In order to ensure the integrity of interviews, it is crucial for interviewers to approach their role with care and professionalism. By maintaining objectivity and avoiding any form of bias, interviewers can create an environment that encourages honest and genuine responses. Furthermore, interviewers should strive to establish rapport with participants, making them feel comfortable and at ease. This can help foster open and candid communication, leading to more accurate and reliable information. It is also important for interviewers to actively listen to participants, paying attention not to their words only but also to their non-verbal cues. This level of attentiveness allows interviewers to pick up on subtle nuances, gain deeper insights into the interviewee's thoughts and feelings. Next source is instrument. Errors can occur when using a measuring tools due to various factors. One possible issue is the complexity of the language used, which may confuse the person being asked. Additionally, if there are multiple meanings associated with the words used, it can further contribute to inaccuracies in measurements. Poor printing quality or insufficient space to answer can also lead to errors. Furthermore, if some response choices are missing from the tool, it can hinder accurate measurements. Another problem arises when the measuring tool fails to include a comprehensive section of all the elements that need to be measured. These issues with the measurement can result in mistakes and inaccuracies in the measurements obtained. In addition to problems with the measuring tool itself, errors can arise during the actual process of using the tool. One common source of error is when the person using the tool fails to follow the instructions accurately. Lack of understanding regarding the purpose of the measurement can also contribute to mistakes. Rushing through the process without paying attention to detail can result in inaccurate measurements as well. Making assumptions about the steps involved in the measurement process can further compound these errors. Ultimately, these procedural errors can lead to incorrect measurements and unreliable data. Another potential source of error in measurements is the reliability of the person responsible for taking the measurements. If the individual has poor eyesight, it can affect their ability to accurately read the measuring tool. Distractions can also divert their attention away from the task at hand, leading to errors. Personal biases held by the observer can introduce subjectivity and compromise the objectivity of the measurement. Insufficient training can also result in improper techniques being employed during the measurement process. Additionally, a lack of motivation can impact the observer's commitment to obtaining accurate measurements. These observer errors have the potential to introduce bias and compromise the validity of the data collected. The conditions in which measurements are taken can also contribute to errors. Poor lighting can make it difficult to read the measuring tool accurately. Furthermore, an environment that is not suitable for this specific measurement being taken can introduce errors into the data. Now, I will discuss the interplay between efficiency, economy, and error control are interconnected factors that play a crucial role in the world of research. When it comes to efficiency, researchers strive to maximize their output while minimizing the time and resources invested. By streamlining processes and workflows, they can effectively utilize their resources to achieve their objectives. Moreover, efficiency is closely tied to error control, as reducing the chances of mistakes and inaccuracies ultimately enhances the overall efficiency of the research. Clear protocols and standardized procedures help maintain consistency in experiments and data collection, thereby minimizing errors. Conversely, errors can hinder efficiency by necessitating additional time and resources for rectification. Therefore, incorporating measures to control errors is essential for improving overall efficiency. In addition to efficiency, economy is another critical aspect of research. Managing financial resources wisely is paramount, considering the potentially high cost associated with conducting research. Optimizing spending ensures that the available funding has the greatest impact. Error control is intricately linked to economic considerations because errors can result in wasted resources. For example, if the collected data is inaccurate, researchers may need to repeat experiments or conduct additional analysis, leading to increased cost. However, investing in error control measures from the outset can prevent such costly errors in the long run. Implementing strict quality assurance protocols and providing comprehensive training for research personnel are effective strategies that promote economic efficiency by avoiding unnecessary expenses. Efficiency, economy, and error control are three key factors that researchers must carefully balance in order to achieve successful results. While it may be tempting to prioritize speed and cost savings, sacrificing error control can compromise the validity and reliability of findings. Conversely, focusing too much on error control or allocating excessive resources can hinder progress and make research less affordable. Therefore, researchers must consider the trade offs and find a balance that yields high quality results within their limitations. Fortunately, technology, automation, and quality assurance protocols can be utilized to enhance efficiency, save money, and reduce errors simultaneously. The relationship between efficiency, economy, and error control is not static, it is constantly evolving. Researchers should continuously evaluate and improve their processes to perform better and overcome new challenges. By adopting agile methodologies and seeking feedback from others, researchers can swiftly adapt to changes and enhance the efficiency and effectiveness of their work. Creating a culture of continuous improvement and innovation enables researchers to integrate efficiency, economy, and error control, leading to significant advancements in scientific knowledge. This is all for today. Thank you.